This is Gerald Jovans. I have already explained a lot of words with PR. Just imagine that I use my own theory here that I have here in the background, the sound inform, the idea of that you can really figure out what letter positions make your mind go to which direction they go, to which direction your mind is going to when you use certain letters. I have to use a right PR as well. And I will use this video, for instance, to do so, because if the PR is not used very well, then it is also not an invitation to go towards a certain goal. You have to have a goal. What do you want to do with it? What is really the purpose of it? The purpose, like the PR. So you have this pressed out result that will go to somewhere. So what can I use it for? The basics here are a whole system that is based upon a numerical system. It has an order, which is an order like you have it in space with horizontal, vertical, diagonal, and so on. And you can find the positions. That's how we use our mind. We find positions. Not only that, we also find, after the position, we find directions. And with the directions, we can also find, where shall these directions go to? That's language. We know the things that we are using, and they go in a certain direction, they change, and at a certain point, we know how they are going to change and how we have to behave to them. And the words describe all these things, and we use these descriptions. So certain things, they are like elements for us. Other things are like, oh no, it's going somewhere else. Elements of that. And or some other elements are context-based reorganization ideas that say like, oh no, please give it a bit more attention, because certain things you don't see immediately. For all these things, letters are there, and why they work is of course something that I should not forget to explain also. But here in this word poor, I hope I have it also in a more rich way, that I explain it, that when you have a process, you also have to go somewhere. You also have to have an idea where to go somewhere. So if you have an invitation to go somewhere, then the PR will matter, because when this process will not lead to anything, it will be poor. And that's what I will explain with this word poor, because that's exactly what it will cause. And we had already port. Why did it lead us to something? Because the port was this invitation which brought us to a connection point in R, which brought us to T, a point in space. So we had a doorway passage to another place, and we could open it at a point of reference where it is needed. R waits for that moment, that perfect moment, that perfect timing. That's what R is about. It makes the connection to the right moment and timing and make that connection. What is the connection in port? T, letter T. T is a position. You say, oh yeah, I see a function, I see a place. That's why port is a word which has a meaningfulness. In pork, the same thing. We had C at the end. We had this attention to a development at the borders. So we associated it with meat. How our meat is useful at a certain point, and we break the parts that we need. This part you can use. This part you can use. That was pork about. But poor, what is poor? Why is poor different? Why doesn't pour out anything? Now, pour out is empty on its own. It is going to go to the right moment to press out something. But what is this something? Or why doesn't this something come? Or why doesn't this something always brings something? And it's almost like, yeah, isn't this the lost cause if we just go to somewhere without a plan? The problem with poor is that it has a long ooh. It's not just like oh, because we could also say like port, but here it is not poor, but it's written like poor. Let's go first to poor. Or means a time delay. I have a time, I take my time, I will go to somewhere and I see, okay, let's go and go somewhere. I'm not sure to what yet, but it is from here, from the P where you have to press it out with a double O, it could become a delay when you pronounce it as oo. Oo means incomplete. So that makes it a delay. It's not just that time processes which is going on poor. Poor is still going on, but poor is that sound where you leave the residue behind. That's why the poo is the residue which you leave behind, the droppings itself. If you end in oo immediately, it's just like, okay, this is, yeah, I have a result. Oh yeah, it's just the left behind. That's the poo. But the R then still makes a connection. I have a poor beginning with poo, just the residue at this moment. With yeah, I need more time. But at the end, when I just say R at the end, so poor without the last letter, that gives it a focus, that makes it a focus, makes it strong. You don't have a connection to anything. You have a connection, but to what? There's no vision behind it. So poor on its own is a poor word because it is just pressing out its results. And it knows it's going to get something, but if the focus on from the first intention is not connecting to anything, to any letter, extra letter like import, where will it connect to? It will only have the residue. It will just have it can only pour out, lose everything actually. That's also why to pour is just leaving out the rest things. Pour is poor because it's just left with that first push out. Yeah, I'm going to have some result, but I have no vision. It will get a poor result in that case, and that was an example of poor in this video. Okay, maybe I have to make rich in the next one. And okay, I hope you enjoyed this one and hope to see you next time. Thanks again for watching. Bye.